Hello everyone, Corey here, and I just wanted to apologize in advance because I've been gone for so long. And as the title suggests, that is exactly why I've been gone, because I recently gave birth to twins. This video is just kind of gonna go through my pregnancy, delivery, and currently what's happening and how things are going. Alright, so November of last year is when I found out that I was pregnant. A little after I started my channel, and it was the day after Thanksgiving when we found out. My period was late 5 days, which I wasn't really worried about because I've been 5 days late before and wasn't pregnant. So the day of, I just thought, I'm just gonna take a test, let's go get one. And we got one, and it turned out positive. In fact, when I was TMI, but I was putting it in the pee cup, okay? Holding it there for 20 seconds like you're supposed to. And even before I was done with the 20 seconds and I could, put the cap on, lay it down, it was already showing 2 lines. So it was really a strong hormone level or something. About a week after we found out is when I started feeling really sick. Really sick. Like I was throwing up, literally throwing up, not just being nauseous, at least twice a day. Sometimes more, sometimes I would throw up 4 times a day. I just couldn't keep anything down, and I was averted to basically every food on the planet except for popsicles and candy canes. At the 10-week mark, we got to hear the heartbeat for the first time. That was the day that I threw up 4 times. It's funny because at my first ultrasound, I had an intern start my ultrasound, and I asked her, when she first put the thing on my belly, I could see the baby right away. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool, I see it, And I said, so is there only one, right? And she said, oh yeah, just one. And I was like, oh, okay, good. And then as she's, looking around more, she starts asking me like, so do you have like twins in your family or anything? And I said, oh yeah, I am one, I'm a fraternal twin. And she's like, okay, so I think I lied to you. And I'm like, what? And she's like, there's 2 in here. And I was like, what? Wow, I was just kind of in shock. I didn't really have anything to say. I'm just kind of like, whoa. That was just kind of my reaction. So I wasn't super surprised because my midwife had told me, I do have a 3% increase likelihood of having twins, being a twin myself. And I kind of thought, oh well, that's not very much, so I was kind of expecting just 1 baby, especially because I'm young. I'm 21 years old, and when my mom had me and my twin brother, she was 30. So I thought, maybe it's just an age thing, maybe that's why she had twins and I'm probably not gonna have twins, but I did. So at around between 12 to 15 weeks is when I started having my sickness start to dwindle and eventually basically go away. I still had aversions to certain foods like spaghetti. It was like puke worthy. Like I could not eat it, and I used to eat it all the time before I was pregnant. Another thing was meats, especially ground beef. I did have one specific craving, and that was pickles. I love pickles as it is, but when I was pregnant, I was like this pickle fiend. I would go through a jar of like pickle chips, a big jar, in a day. I would eat plates piled up with pickle chips, and it was amazing. I would just ask for pickle chips and milk. That's what I would eat most of the time. Fast forward to 23 weeks. I went in to have a routine ultrasound, just like I did. I would get ultrasounds more often than somebody with a singleton because twins are high risk and they wanted to just check on them more often, which was cool because I got pictures, a ton of pictures, and the girls are gonna love those when they get older. During my ultrasound, they found out that my cervix was really short, like almost non-existent short. They admitted me into the hospital because they said I was at risk for preterm labor, and we lived an hour away from the hospital, so that's even more risky to go home if I were to go into labor. They're very, very premature. So I was admitted. They gave me magnesium sulfate to stop my contractions that I was having at that point. I think I was having them because I was hungry and stressed. especially because I had to get an IV for the first time ever in my life, and I was like so freaking out. wasn't as bad as I thought. They did give me a numbing little shot where I would get my IV, so I didn't have to feel the IV. It was just the numbing shot was a little bit stingy. They gave me magnesium sulfate, like I said. Then they gave me progesterone, and they gave me a little IV bag with some water, mineral, vitamins, or whatever. I don't know. And they also gave me steroid shots to help develop the baby's lungs in case I were to give birth to them in the near future. Turns out nothing really happened. My contractions went away with the magnesium sulfate, and I didn't progress any. I stayed at a 1 centimeter dilated the whole time I was there. I was there for 3 weeks. And at the 3-week mark, I was like begging the doctor to let me go home because I was just kind of done. I was done with the hospital. I was constantly getting checked on and like talked to by all these people. And it was just very stressful. I wasn't getting sleep. And I was like, you know what? Nothing's happening. I just want to go home. Let me go home and relax. And so they finally just said, okay, you can stay. We will let you stay here for sure. But if you want to go home, we'll let you go home. Fast forward to week 33 and 4 days. I woke up in the morning and I felt some Braxton Hicks contractions, which were common. I was having those all the time because I would always have them when I would have a full bladder. And that happened a lot. But that morning, I felt a dull lower back pain whenever I would have a tightening of a Braxton Hicks. And I thought, that's, I don't know. But as I was laying there, I could kind of realize that there was a pattern. It would happen every single time. And so I thought, that's odd. So I woke up my husband and we went to the hospital just to be safe. Because like I said, we live an hour away. And turned out I was dilated to a 3 and I was having legit contractions. And so they said, okay, you're going to stay and you're probably going to have the babies, tonight or tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So pretty much soon after that, they gave me an epidural because they knew there was a bigger possibility that I could have a C-section with twins. So they wanted to have, pain stuff, numbingness going on beforehand, because in case emergency or anything like that, it's really risky to go into surgery and then get your epidural or then get your spinal because it takes time. And if it's an emergency, that could be fatal time. So they gave me that. It was not as bad as I thought. It was mainly just pressure. They gave me a numbing shot in my back, which wasn't that bad. It just kind of stung when he put the medicine in, just like it did with my IV. And then the main thing after that was just pressure. I felt like he was pushing really hard right next to my spine and like really intense pressure, like really pushing his finger there. But then it was over and it was done and I started feeling numb and it was all good. So later that evening, they checked me again and I was dilated to an 8. They had me on magnesium sulfate just to see if this was kind of like a fluke, if they could kind of keep things from progressing a little bit longer. And it did help a little bit because in that evening, my contractions kind of almost were non-existent. They were very small. And so they said, okay, well, we're just going to see what happens throughout the night and kind of check back with you in the morning, see if you progressed any. Morning came. I was still at about an 8, 9. And they said, okay, well, let's just pull your magnesium sulfate and see if your contractions start, starting up again. And if they do, then we'll break your water if it hasn't already broken. Took me off. My contractions started up again, and I started feeling a little bit more uncomfortableness, even with my epidural. I would have to call the nurse and be like, hey, can you, give me a little shot of some more epidural there. They came in, checked me one more time, and I was pretty much all the way dilated. And so they said, okay, let's just break your water and let the games begin. They broke my water, and it was like this hot liquid just like pouring out of my body. It was very weird. I felt like I was peeing my pants, but I wasn't wearing pants. They told me, they were like, it takes time, just expect it to be kind of a couple hours from now, nothing's gonna happen too soon, whatever. turned out 15 minutes after they broke my water, I started feeling really intense contractions. Painful, I had to breathe through them, hold his hand, squeeze something while I was focusing. And I felt a lot of pressure, like pressure to poop, just like they told me I would feel. And so I called the nurse in. I said, I feel like I gotta push. Like, I think it's ready. So they came in, they're kind of getting things ready to wheel me out, and all of a sudden my body just starts pushing on its own, just intense pushing. And it was very weird because I've never not been in control of my bodily functions. But it was pushing on its own, and I was trying to stop it because I knew, like, we weren't in the room, we weren't ready. The doctor wasn't even here, you know, it was just some nurse, you know, trying to wheel me over to the room, and the nurse was telling me, like, don't push, you know, and I was like, I can't, you know, I'm not doing it. I'm not in control. I can't stop it. I'm trying to stop it so bad, and it's just not doing anything. So she wheels me over, I make it there, no babies come out, and they prep me really quickly, and when a contraction comes, they tell me to start pushing, and I just do what they tell me to do. And, you know, during the first part of pushing my first baby out, I felt like, I don't know if I can push her out. I don't know if this is gonna happen. I might have to have a C-section because I feel like I'm pushing as hard as I can, and I don't know if I can get her head out. Like, it was really intense. But I did. I got her head out. Yay me. Once her head came out, it was a big relief, and her body kind of came out a lot easier than her head did. They took her over after they took her, and cleaned her up, weighed her, did her thing. I couldn't really see because there was too many nurses kind of surrounding her, and I was like a little bit lower than she was. But I will tell you, if you have had a baby, you will understand this feeling. After your baby comes out, fully out, your body, like, you just have this huge relief. Like, all the pain is gone, all the pressure is gone, you just feel so good, and you just can breathe and just relax. It's just like this, such a nice feeling. So I was able to do that, which really felt good. After they finished with her, they brought her over to me, let me kiss her on the cheek, and brought her to the NICU. And then they broke my water again, and pretty much instantly the contractions started. My second baby came out faster than the first, even though she was face up, which usually takes more time. But we did notice that when they popped the water with that little hook thing, it seemed like they caught her umbilical cord a little bit, kind of sliced it. Because when she came out, when her umbilical cord was exposed, there was a little cut in it, and then once it was exposed, it started spraying the doctor and spraying my husband and spraying my legs, all with her blood. It was like a massacre scene. And my doctor wasn't even wearing a mask or anything. Like, what if the blood had gotten in her, like, mouth or her eyes or something? That's kind of grody. So she came out, she was good, they were both good. Brought her over, let me kiss her, and then took her away, and they cleaned me up. I did have like a minor tear, so they did have to do a little stitching, but they gave me a little numbing shot so I didn't feel the stitches. It was very weird. I felt the stitches, like I could feel the hook going in and the string going through, but it wasn't painful. It was just, I could feel it, like you're rubbing my skin. Like, I can feel that, but it doesn't hurt. It was very odd. I couldn't go see my girls right away. My husband could go in when they took the girls in, take pictures and see them, but I couldn't. I would have to stay in the room, my like regular hospital room, for 2 hours for recovery. So after the 2 hours, after I had eaten, I ordered some food. I ordered pizza because during my labor, in between contractions and pushing, I kind of cracked a joke, and I said to my husband and the doctor, I said, after this, I'm ordering pizza. I want a pepperoni pizza, and I want an orange crush soda. And I did. I ordered pizza. And you know what? My hospital pizza is so delicious. Oh my God. It's so good. It's like this thick, yummy, delicious pizza. It's great. And I loved it. And so I ordered it like multiple times while I was there. And then I went in to see my babies, and that was really exciting. I got to put my hand in there and like touch their little hands and just talk to them, see them. At that point, like for a few days, I was very, very weak. I was pale, even paler than I am right now, which is kind of hard to believe, but I look like a dead corpse. The pictures prove it. And anybody that has had NICU babies knows how hard it is. A lot of people have it harder than we did because our babies really didn't have problems. They didn't have jaundice, they didn't have breathing problems or any sort of anything. They were fine. The only reason they stayed in for a month is because they were still learning how to suck, and they wouldn't let them go home until they had a really good, solid eating, if they knew how to eat really well and suck really well, so that when they got home, you know, they'd eat really well for us and gain weight and do all that fun stuff. They had the CPAP on them for less than 24 hours after they were delivered, just to kind of help them breathe. They were breathing on their own, but they just kind of wanted to make it a little bit easier for them to breathe. So they had that on there, took it off the next day, and they never put it back on. The only thing that they had attached to them, other than just monitors, was a feeding tube in their nose, because they had to learn how to eat themselves. So once they learned how to suck properly, they took the tube out and they just bottle fed them. Right now, they are home and happy and healthy and chubby, and they're for a little over 4 months now. We are exclusively breastfeeding them. I can't physically breastfeed them because they learned how to eat from the bottle, and I tried to transition them to my breasts, and they just didn't end up getting it. They didn't know how to latch on properly. It's just not the same size or same shape as a bottle nipple. We used the Dr. Brown's. That's what they used in the NICU, and so that's what they let us go home with, and that's what we've used ever since. So I decided to just pump and then put it in the bottle, and that's what we've been doing since. I also want to let you guys know that we are also cloth diapering full time. We had planned to do this ever since I was pregnant, even before we knew that we wanted to do this. The only time that we ever use disposables, and we are very picky about what disposables we use, is when we lose power. We tend to lose power a few times in the winter, which we're preparing for right now. The only disposable diapers we will use is number one choice, Bamboo Nature. They are very natural, very hypoallergenic. Trust them very much. And the other one we would use is Honest Company diapers. The reason we would choose Honest Company diapers over Bamboo Nature is simply just convenience, because we can go to Target and pick up a pack of Honest Company diapers, whereas with Bamboo Nature, you do have to order those, at least where we live. So if we were in a pinch and the power went out and we didn't know it was going to happen, we weren't prepared, didn't have diapers, we could just drive to Target and pick up a pack, whereas with Bamboo, we'd have to order them and, you know, wait about a week to get them. If you guys are interested in anything baby related, cloth diaper stuff, what we like, what we use, how it's going, things like that, wash routine, let me know and I'll do a video for you guys. I just want to let you guys know also that I have reviews coming of things like shampoo and conditioner, makeup, skincare, etc. So if you guys are interested in watching those, just stay tuned, subscribe, like my video, comment, whatever you want to do. I also am going to insert a few pictures at the end of this video of my belly at 13 weeks, which is when I started my belly progression pictures, and at my largest size before giving birth, which was at 33 weeks or so, I think is when I took that, and my 4-month postpartum picture. Just so you guys, if you're interested, you can check out what a twin pregnancy belly looks like and what it looks like now. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me and watching this video. I really appreciate you and hope you enjoy my videos from now on. Stay tuned if you want to watch more videos from me, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye! I couldn't find my 13-week pregnant picture for you guys, so I decided to just include a few pictures of me pregnant. This is between 30 to 33 weeks. My little photo shoot I did with my husband. And this is me at 33 weeks pregnant. This is about 4 days after birth. And this is 4 months postpartum.